Well, today, from our friends at Hunkydory, we have the Wildlife Blossoms collection. So we're going to have wildlife compared or combined with blossoms, and you can kind of get some ideas right here. We have the topper collection, we have the tag pad, and just to give you a beautiful preview, here is what you can make with this gorgeous product. There we go. How pretty. Okay, won't you please come play with us? Now the topper collection, as you know, has all of those wonderful foil die cuts as well as greetings, as well as printed and foil cardstock. And you kind of get a peek as to what the art is like. Now the tag pad is 3.25 by 5 inches. There are 48 tags in here, 12 designs. Obviously, you're going to get 4 of each one. And let's go to our very first card, and it's the one that I showed you as we were getting started. And isn't that a beauty? Now, what Heidi used is our center step card die cuts, and it's going to make the center step card. We do also have that in die cut cards, so that's going to work nicely for you. The die is a solid metal, and it's going to last forever for you. So you're simply going to choose your cardstock, and Heidi has this time used the carnation 6x6 pattern papers, but also the carnation solid cardstock. And you can see that the cardstock is a bright pink on one side and a light pink on the other, and that's really shown in this card, where you can see the bright pink here, and on the inside the lighter pink. So that just gives you kind of an extra bonus, I feel. Okay, so she has used the blue carnation to cover the front panel and the 2 side panels. Now, notice that those are a little bit smaller than the die cut card, and she does that so that the die cut card becomes the matte. Now, there is a download on the center step card cutting dies that you can use, and it will give you the exact size to trim your papers to, so that worked nicely. Now, what she then has taken is this sheet out of the topper collection, and you can see again everything has flowers with it. So wildfly in this case is a butterfly with the flowers with it. And in this case, as with many of Hunkydory, there are 3 frames. So there is an outside frame that has a design in it, then a gold frame, and then a center design. So it's nested in 3s. And what she has done is she has taken that center frame, the gold one, placed it on the dark pink solid cardstock and trimmed it to fit. And then she glued it or foam taped it on point on the front of her card. And so it's going to pooch out of the card itself, but it just stays very, very nicely with it. So that worked well. Then she took the centerpiece, you can see that right there, and foam taped that on top. And she did take out of the printed cardstock, there's printed and foil cardstock, she elected to take one of the butterflies and cut it out, and she foam taped that on top. So you can elect to do that. The bow is made with the bow maker from Hunkydory also. That's how Heidi gets her perfect bows. And she did use the light pink ribbon, and you can see that right down here. Now, she wanted to add even more butterflies, so you can see those gold butterflies, and they come out of our 117 butterfly dazzles. And they are, what she does is, because the dazzles are a sticker, and so that there wouldn't be any stickiness on the wings, she put talc powder, baby powder, on the wings, but left the stickiness on the body so the body could attach to the card, but the wings would not be attached. So very clever. Thank you, Heidi, for that. Now Heidi loves to do this bowing technique, and what she does is she pulls out the die cut, in this case the flying by to wish you a happy birthday, and she just places it, let me pop this for you, just places it underneath the bone folder, just to kind of give it a bit of a curve like that. Then she zots just the ends to her card and allows that bowing to take place. So it's just a little more dimension. And that completes the front of our card, except for the crystal shimmer sparkles. And these are self-adhesive, and you can see she's placed them on the corners. Now for the inside of her card, you can see, now remember when we had the topper, there were 3 pieces. We used the center, we used the gold, but we didn't use that outside frame. So what she has done is she has glued it down inside her card and then just trimmed off the edge because it was a little bit large. Now, really, really pretty. And what she's done is she's taken this topper and foam taped it there. She has taken one of the Just For You and tucked it in and foam taped it in place. And then remember how she fussy cut that one butterfly out of the patterned cardstock? Well, she went back and fussy cut out these 2 and glued them as shown, but she wasn't done. Remember those dazzles that she used on the front? Well, there are some big, beautiful butterflies. So she took one, pulled it off, cut it in half, and placed 1/2 over here and 1/2 over there, and then built up her frame. And isn't that lovely? Just really pretty. Another bow, more of the crystals, a little tiny butterfly right there, and that finishes this absolutely pretty spectacular card. And I love how it's bright pink and blue on the front and then the softer pink and gold on the inside. Really nice. Now, staying with the topper collection, Heidi has a second card, and this is it. And this is obviously a slimline card. And she is using this collection. So here is the topper sheet, and here is the, in this case, this is the foiled Adorable Scoreable. So you get foiled and you get printed both. So what she has done is, now her slimline, as you know, they are 3.5 by 8.5 inches. We have the collection, and she has used the foiled topper to be on the front of her card. So you can see that she carefully cut just the area that she wanted to show. So this whole piece, and that length is going to be just really good on the front of her card. Now, she did cut off the foiling on the side. She still has it at the bottom, but she made up for it by matting it onto the Gold Mary. And this is the Gold Mary. So you can see that just has a narrow border, and it's glued to the front of her slimline card. Then she went into her topper sheet, and you can see that she pulled out these 2 tags and placed them there. She did wrap that with some gold ribbon, and this is obviously out of the yellow package, and tied a bow with the bow maker. And then she also added some of the pearls, and this is the gold and silver pearls into the mane of her horse. So you're getting foiling on the horse as well as the matting on the tags, and then also the matting that was done down there. So you've got gold flashing all over. But that's not just the only thing that's special about this card. When I open it, you're going to see something else. Look at that. Look at that. How fun. Okay, now what Heidi has done is she has first taken this piece and has glued it inside her card. So you want to get that positioned first. And the measurements and everything are down below in the instructions. Just look for this card, click on it, and you'll see the instructions over on the right side of your screen. Okay, now this is getting placed first. Then she took a second slimline card and she used the adorable scoreboard to place her card there and use the bone folder that's attached. And she went over 1 3/4 inches and did the score and turned it over and did the same thing on the other side. Okay, so that just makes it easy. Now this is going to get folded, as you can see right here, in a mountain fold. These will later be folded in valley folds. So this is going to go inside your card, but first we're going to make that opening. There you go, that wonderful opening that creates that tunnel look inside this card. And that is done with our cutting dies. And let me find the, I pulled the die out and now it has gone astray. Okay, here we go. Now this is part of the labels, 8 labels for your greetings, and they're designed to be perfect for holding greetings. However, look what Heidi has done. So she has taken this larger one and she has scored and folded her card. So this is the inside. And then she's going to take this cutting die and tape it in place with our low-tack tape. And you just want it on the center so that this is going to die cut it. Then you can run it through your die cutting machine and you will have this very fancy opening. Very, very nice, I might say. And then you're going to use extra sticky tape on the backs of the side panels and place that down on the inside of your card just like that. Now you can also see that she went back into the yellow ribbon set and simply wrapped that around the center. So that was fun and a different look, as you can see. Now, what about what's going on the inside of her card? Well, she went back to this piece, and remember, she trimmed out that horse, just the horse right there. So she ended up with all of this still available. So she cut out 2 strips and matted that again onto the Gold Mary and glued them onto each side panel. And then about the decorations of those panels, well, she went back into her topper set and she used this outside frame, cut it in half, and actually trimmed it a little bit more than in half, okay? So it's gonna go just over to that first dip. So you're not gonna be using that dip right there. You're just gonna be using each side, and glued them onto each side. So it just creates this beautiful frame around that very fancy horse. These 2 are part of the topper. Good luck and many happy returns. To go on the inside of her card, she used the blue the blue pearls, as you can see, so right down here and right there. So we have a very different look, and I think a good process to remember and to add to our card making repertoire. Okay, and now we've had 2 cards using the topper collection, and you can use far more because there are lots of them in there. Let's go to the tag pad. And as I said, this is a 3 1/4 by 5. And this card is what we're going to start with. Isn't that cute? And this is a easel card, as you can see. Very sweet. Love cats, so that's perfect for me. Hope it's perfect for you. Now, what she has done is she has taken our 5 by 6.5 inch cards and trimmed it down to be 5 by 5.5 inches. And that just works very nicely. Now, for her papers to go with her sweet little kitty, she has chosen the X-ray flowers. And for this, she has the X-ray flower papers or cardstock, as well as the X-ray solid cardstock. And you can kind of see as I'm flashing these, all the colors that are there. Now, we will also have some of the X-ray die cuts that will be used as we play with this. So her first process is to take this all over pattern, cut a rectangle, and then cut it in half. She did mat each of the pieces. I guess what you could do is you could take that one piece, go ahead and mat it on the green, and then cut it in half. Now, this card, you want to have the front of it scored along parallel to the fold, okay? Because that's going to create your mechanism. So step one is to make that fold, then to do the matting on the solid cardstock on the pattern cardstock and glue them. Again, you're just going to glue them up to the fold, up to that score line, not over it, okay? Now we're going to take, this is the tag, and Heidi did something different with it. So she first matted it, and she used the silver Mary to mat it. And she did use a narrow mat. It's about, gosh, about 1/16 of an inch, so it's pretty little. But you know, you get multiple copies of every single one of these tags. So she elected to give some dimension to this. So she took a second one and just trimmed out around the flowers and then foam taped them on top. And I think you can see that dimension right here. Now you could take it a step further, which is exactly what Heidi did. And she glued her tag down, matted it on the silver, and then she cut out a whole cat and foam taped it. Then she cut out just the flowers and foam taped them. So you've got some layers there. And by using our 400 foam squares, it's not going to get too clunky. They're going to be just mildly and gently lifted, so that works nicely. Now, as you probably know, any time you're doing an easel card, you're just going to glue the bottom of this piece to the bottom of the card. That way we want to leave that fold operating. Now, she did use the jute and tied a bow there. The Love You is out of the die cuts from the X-ray flowers, so that's added to it. And then she also used these silver studs. We have gold and silver from Hunkydory, and they are customer favorites. Just absolutely love them. Okay, so that takes care of the front of our card. Now for the inside, Heidi has covered the inside with the rose solid cardstock. This is another piece of the X-ray flowers matted on silver, and then also matted on the light pink, glued to the center of her card. Now this is one of the die cuts, and it's been foam taped so that it will hold that card up. So this is what you would see as it's sitting in front of you. Love you, have a wonderful birthday. Another jute bow, and then more of the silver studs to accent that silver Mary. Just a very sweet card. Now you do see, in fact on the front of the package, the same artwork is used in the topper collection, but you get a few more versions of it, and of course you get the printed cardstock, and you get the foil cardstock that matches. So lots of opportunities there. Now for our final card, Heidi has done quite a few different things. So let me show this to you. This is also using out of the tag pad. And let me just show you. This is the one that she used. This is the bird with the flowers. Really pretty. But before we get there, there's some things that we have to do. And what Heidi has done, and I just want to open this up so you can see. Can you see that acetate? Well, this is our 5 by 6.5 inch card base. But what Heidi did is she cut the top piece off. Use that later. Then she cut a piece of acetate. And as you probably know, we sell the acetate as individual sheets or in our heat-resistant acetate, so you can use either one. Now what she did, so this piece is, so our card is 5 by 6.5, so this piece is 5.5 by 6.5. And she scored that 1/2 inch and is going to use it for the front of the card. However, something else is going on. You see this bottom part? This is very sturdy. And this is actually still attached to the card. So I have to go back a second. I told you a lie. I really hate doing that to you. So just ignore the first part of it, okay? So what she did is she cut 4 inches off the top of her card and then cut back to the fold. So it had this, just this bottom part still attached. So that keeps it pretty sturdy. Then with her acetate, she did cut it as I told you, but she also embossed it. Now, what she used is the wood texture embossing folder. So, and what I love about it is that she sanded it. So she took our sanding tool and just went over it, and it kind of roughed up the exposed areas. And it's just really clever. I think it's really nice. Okay, then that is glued to the front of the card. Okay, so you've got that. So we've got the card cut. Still has this window, kind of like a Dutch door window, still showing. And then we have the embossed acetate that has been sanded is glued on top. You do want to use extra sticky tape to attach that 1/2 inch, just that way it's going to really hold it securely. So now we're going to go into the card itself. So Heidi has done a couple of things. With the Secret Garden 6 by 6, she chose the pattern that has all of the blossoms at the bottom. She matted it onto the gold glitter, and they call it, Hunkydory calls it diamond sparkles. So she's glued this and matted it onto there, and then glued it on top of the acetate. Again, you probably want to use the extra sticky tape to attach it. Then she took that little bird tag, matted it also on the gold glitter, and foam taped it to the front of her card. Just really nice. Now, those beautiful butterflies, what about those, Paulette? Well, they are from our jewel butterflies, and they are already die cut. So all you'll do is put the extra sticky tape on the body, lift up those wings, and attach it to the card. And they just are a beautiful look. Now Heidi decided to add some of the gold jewel dazzles into the center of the butterflies, as well as in the center of the flowers on that sweet little bird. That just saying hello is one of the cutouts from the Secret Garden, so that's going to work nicely. So that completes the front of our card. For the inside, she has taken another sheet of the Secret Garden and matted it onto the gold glitter and glued it to the inside of the card. Notice it fills the card completely, so it's 5 by 6.5. Now this tag is one of the 48. Let's see, stay, okay? And there are others, I just wanted you to know. So birthday wishes, make the world beautiful, wishing you the most wonderful day, and then also live life in full bloom. And this also has that little bird on it. So she has matted that onto the light blue Secret Garden, and then glued it flat into her card. She has used the ivory ribbon set to make a bow with the bow maker here and then also on the front of her card. And more butterflies, more of our absolutely beautiful jewel butterflies are right here. And notice that they overlap a little bit. The gold jewel dazzles are in place. And that completes our 4th card. How pretty. Okay, well, I think you can see that the Wildlife Blossoms is quite a beautiful collection. And we do have a money saver for you on the right side of the screen. If you are watching this on YouTube, as I always tell you, we hope that you will like us. We hope that you will subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment and we will check that. And please do head over to paperwishes.com. We have a money saver on these, which is also on the right side of our screen. Heidi writes out all the instructions. They are down below, so you can just click on any of the cards and you'll see her instructions also on the right side of your screen. I want to thank you for joining us. Heidi, beautiful job. I love what you've done and the techniques that you've shared with us. And I want to thank you so much for joining us and being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you next time.